Hello, thanks for coming to my channel again. I'm Tag from Tag the Shooter Photography, and today I'm doing another comparison between the A9 and the A9 II. And if this time it's about the speed writing to all of these different types of cards. Does the tough card make a difference? Does the A9 make a difference between the A9 II? Did Sony increase the speeds between the two? I'm going to show you right now. The first comparison we're going to get into, I'm trying to make this video as short as possible, but yet as informative as possible. First battle is going to be the A9 versus the A9 II. Will be using one card, one tough card in slot 1 of the A9 II, one tough card in slot 1 of the A9, and only write to that one card. We're going to hold the button down for 5 seconds. We're going to see how many photos it takes, and then see how long it takes to write them files to that card. So the first one up to the plate is the original A9. And of course, you know the A9 slot 1 is on the bottom. We put the tough card in there. We formatted the card. And we turn it on. And we're going to get our stopwatch here. We are going to hold this sucker down for 5 seconds. We're going to try to do a real world thing. I was going to think about doing 10 seconds, 15 seconds. But no, we're going to you normally don't hold the button down even more than 5 seconds doing sports or weddings and things like that. But for the sake of this test, we're going to hold it down for 5 seconds. We're going to let it write to the card and see what the whole process takes. So here we go with the first test. 1, 2, go. Going to hold it down for 5 seconds and stop. It wrote about 90-something files. And let's see how long it takes the A9 to write them files to the card. We're at 18 seconds and we still have 60-something files left. So let's see how it works. And we're down to 30. And we're down to 10. And here we go and stop. Looks like it took about 34 seconds for the whole process of writing 90-something files. Let's see how many files it actually took. Let's go play. It took 102 files. And it took 34 seconds for that whole process of taking 102 files and writing them to the card. So if we subtract 5 seconds, it took 29 seconds, 29 and a half seconds to write 102 files. So now we have the A9 II. We have the tough card in slot. We're going to put the tough card in slot 1, which we know the slot 1 is on the top in the A9. The card, the slot is formatted, no pictures on it. And we're going to see how long it takes the A9 II. So 1 and go. Hold down for 5 seconds and stop. See how long this takes to write. And stop. It took 21 seconds to take, let's see how many files it took. It took the same 102 files, but it only took, as opposed to the A9 took 3456 for the whole process. The A9 II only took 2132 for the 5 slots. And if we take away 5 seconds, it took 1632 for it to take 102 pictures, write them to the card, and it took 1632, and the A9 took 2135. So that's a pretty big difference. That's about 9-10 seconds difference there. So now we're going to do the second test, where we're going to start with the a9ii. We're going to have both tough cards in slot 1 and slot 2. We're going to simultaneously record to both. We're going to be recording to one slot. We're going to be duplicating onto the second slot, and we're going to see if it significantly slows down the whole process. So we're going to start with 5 seconds. 1 and go. We're going to do it for 5 seconds and stop. We're going to see how many files it takes to write. We already see that it's a major difference in writing to the card, because we're already past the 16 seconds that it took on the first one. So let's see how long this takes. We got 20 seconds, 20 files left, and ready, and stop. It took 26 seconds to take, let's see how many files it took. It took the same 103, 102 files, but instead of taking only 16 seconds on the a9ii, it took it took 2132 on the one slot, but on the two cards, it took 26. So it looks like it took about 5 seconds more on the A9 when it's duplicating. So now it's the A9's turn. We put two tough cards in slot 1 and slot 2. Remember that the slot 1 is the fast card on the A9, and the slot 2 on the A9 is a slower US1 card. And we're going to see the difference here that it takes. So we're going to start with the 5 seconds and go. And we're going to hold 5 seconds and stop. And let's see how long it takes to write on the A9 with the 2 slots. We're at 20 seconds, and we still have 51 files to write. So we already see a big significant difference here. And stop. 3413. So I wouldn't say it was too big a deal. It looked like it took about 8 seconds more on the A9 than opposed to the A9ii to write. And let's see how many files it took on the A9. It took the same amount roughly on the A9. It took 105 pictures, and it took 34 seconds to write. So that means if we take away the 5 seconds, it took 19 seconds on the A9 to write to the card, and it took, if you take the 5 seconds away, it took 29 seconds to write all the files to the card. And on the A9, if you take, it took 26 seconds to do the same. Take 5 seconds away, it took 21 seconds. So that means on the A9ii, it took 21 seconds to write 102 files to the card. And on the A9, it took 29 seconds. So roughly 8 seconds more it took to duplicate on the A9 as opposed to the A9ii. The A9 was 8 seconds longer than it took. So now we're gonna do the Sony cards and see if G cards and see if they're different from the tough cards. So hold on, be right back. Okay, the next test is going to be the Sony card, the Sony G card, and we're going to test it with only the card in slot 1, and then we'll test it with both cards in slot 1 and 2. So hold on, let me switch it in. Okay, this is the A9, and we're putting the Sony card in slot 1. No card in slot 2, and we're just going to see how long it takes for the Sony cards to do 5 seconds writing and to the cards. So here we go. We're going to get the stopwatch going. And this is the A9. And here we go. 5 seconds. Let's make sure the card is formatted. Card 1 formatted. All right. Now, here we go. Set the timer. And 1 and go. And do it for 5 seconds. Stop. Because the A9 first time went for 29 seconds. So let's see what this does again here. And stop. That looks a little better. It's 28:53. So it seems like they're about the same with the Sony G cards and the Sony Tough cards. It seemed like they're about the same with writing to the cards. The Sony was 20. The Sony Tough cards were 29 and roughly 29 seconds, and writing 100 files. And then this one was roughly 29 seconds. This says 28. This says 28:53. So, but we're gonna say it's roughly around the same time at 29 seconds with the Sony. So they're pretty much the same. The Sony card and the Sony Tough cards. Okay, I formatted the card. So now we have the same card in the A9 II. One card only writing. We're going to reset the timer. One card, one slot, in slot 1, A9 II. 5 seconds, ready, and go. For 5 seconds. And stop. And we're writing here. And we have 20 files left. And ready, and stop. 21:63 on the A9. It took to write, let's see how many files it wrote. 102 files at 5 seconds. A9 II. It took 21:53. So as opposed to the A9, regular A9, it took 28:53. So roughly 7-8 seconds faster, the A9 II over the A9 with the Sony G cards. So now we're gonna go one step further, and we're gonna go down to the M series cards. These are the ones that's write speed at 100 and the read speed at 260. And you know that the Sony Gs are 300 and 300. 300 write and 300 read and 299 write. So now we're going to go down to the next level down, which is the Sony M cards, and we're going to start this time with the A9 II, and we're going to see what happens here. We're going to switch out the the G cards, put in the M card, turn it on, format the card, slot 1, reset my clock here. Okay, so I reset my clock here, and now we're ready to test the M series card in the a9ii for 5 seconds. So we're ready to go here. 1 card in slot 1, no card in slot 2, and 5 seconds. Here we go. 1 and go. And stop. And we are off. So we're gonna see how long it takes this to go here. We're at 60 files left. We're at 20 seconds. So we already see a big difference there. And we got 20 files left. And here we go, 10, and stop. Looks like it stopped at around 33:69, so say roughly 34 seconds. So we're gonna leave it. So for the M series cards, it took roughly, let's see how many files it took. 103 files, say same amount. So we're say M series cards, it took 3369 with 103 files in the a9ii. Okay, I'm back now, and now we're gonna do the a9 with the M series cards. This is the a9 with the M series cards. We're going to see how long it takes for 5 seconds, see if it's faster or slower than the a9ii. So here we go. Oops, let me format again. Make sure I'm formatted here. All right, here we go. 5 seconds, ready and go. And stop. And this is the a9 with the M series cards. Let's see how long this takes. Know this might be a boring video, but we're gonna see how this works here. So we're down to 30 files left, and we're at 30 seconds. So here we coming down the bend, 10 seconds left. Here we go, and stop. 40 seconds on the M series cards. M series with the a9 in slot 1 only. So, brief summary, the a9 with the M series cards is 40 seconds to finish the whole sequence, but 35 seconds to actually write the cards to the 100, and let's see how many files, make sure how many files, 103 files. It took 35 seconds to write 103 files. With the a9ii, same test, it was 102 files for 34 seconds. So roughly the same on the M series as with the a9ii. It took about the same. The a9ii was slightly faster, with maybe 1 or 2 seconds faster on the M series cards. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 2 cards in the slots. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, we're gonna do 2 Sony cards in both slots, the a9 and the a9ii in both slots. And we're gonna replicate the 2 cards, replicate to the second card. So let me set that up. Okay, so now I have 2 Sony cards in the slot 1 and slot 2. I'm going to change the settings to simultaneously write raw files to both cards. Remember, the A9 has a fast slot in slot 1, and then a US 1 slower slot in slot 2. So we're going to see how this works with 5 seconds. Here we go. And start for 5 seconds and stop. And we're going to see how long this takes. And remember, it will be off 1 or 2 seconds here or there with my finger or whatever, but we're just getting rough estimates of what if it's actually faster or slower. The amount of time faster or slower may vary just slightly, but we'll get the general idea. And already we're at 30 seconds and it isn't halfway through writing all the cards. So we already know that simultaneously writing to both cards will double your, almost double your write speeds to your card. So if you want speed, you better do 1 card. So here we go, and we're coming down to the wire and stop. 54 seconds we have on the A9. We have 54 seconds, and we have written 107 files. 107 files, took 54.83 on the A9 with the 2 Sony G cards with the simultaneous writing. So it wrote 107 files to both cards in 54.83. This is the A9 II with both G cards in both slots. And remember, the A9 II has 2 fast US 2 card slots in both slot 1 and slot 2. So this should be significantly faster than the A9. So let's see. Remember, we started out with 55 seconds to write 103 files on the A9. So let's see what comes up the A9 II. So here we go. 1, 2. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. And 5 seconds, stop. And here we go. We already at 50 seconds left on the cards, and we're at 60, so the luck is gonna be, like, it might cut it in half here, guys. So here we go, we're down to 10 seconds left, and stop. 27.77. Let's see how many files it took. We had 107 files again. As you can see, it is twice as fast on the A9 II as it is the A9 II. So remember, this is only for 5 seconds. If you burst more than 5 seconds, of course, you have to double that lag to how long it's going to write, so you can see that you're saving us a significant amount of time with the A9 II that you did with the A9. So one more test we're going to do here, and that's just, 2 more tests. We're going to get rid of the Sony cards, and we're going to go to the SanDisk cards and see if they are around the same speed as the Sony cards. So be right back. Now for the SanDisk cards, we're going to go back to just only recording on 1 card, standard only, 1 card with the SanDisk, just to see what the speed difference is with 1 card, if it's different from the Sony cards. And so remember, Sony cards did it in about 40 seconds for 5 seconds. So let's see what this does. We're gonna start the timer here. We formatted the cards. We have the SanDisk in slot 1 only. So here we go, 1, 2, go. For 5 seconds, and stop. and this is the a9ii. So we're coming down the barrel with 20 files left, and stop. Say roughly 22 seconds. Let's see how many files it wrote. 105 files in 22 seconds. And we're going to do a second test for consistency. Okay, ready and start. And stop. Second test. And stop. Okay, I stopped that. All right, here goes the second test with the a9ii with the SanDisk cards. 5 seconds. Ready and go. And up. So this is the second test. Writing the cards to the files to the card on the SanDisk 300. So here we go. And stop. 22.95, so that's about the same. 22 files, 95. And let's see how many files it did. A 108 files, so it's about the same. And it took 22.95, so let's bring it, average it. So you say 22 seconds at 107 files, 106 files at 22 seconds. So now we're gonna do the test with the a9ii with the SanDisk card. So be right back. Okay. All right, I'm back, and now we have the A9 with the SanDisk in one slot. We're gonna make sure that we're only recording to one card, standard. All right, remember, only to the A9, only to the one slot in the SanDisk card. Remember, it was 22 seconds on the a9ii. So let's see what the A9 does. So here we go, 1, 2, start. And 5 seconds. A9 with the SanDisk. 5 seconds. And you can see we're already past 22 seconds. And stop. 23.66. And how many files it took? 102 files. Remember, the a9ii was at 22 files at 100. So it seemed like the a9ii was just a slight few seconds faster than the a9 when you're only writing to the one card. So roughly the a9 and the a9ii are pretty similar. Maybe 2 or 3 seconds faster for the a9ii on the SanDisk cards with one slot. Okay, now I'm gonna go and try some of the slower cards to see if it's worth actually by upgrading to, like I said before, we've been testing out the faster cards for Sony, the 300 megabyte files for the Sony, the tough one, the Sony G card, and the SanDisk one. But now we're just gonna do a regular card that's the 95 megabit files to see if it's actually faster on the Sony a9ii. So So I'm gonna put it in slot 1 only. I format it. I'm gonna make it so that it is only recording to the 1 slot, like we've done before. And I'm doing raw, standard. Make sure my format is raw only. And here we go. And we're gonna do the standard 5 seconds we were doing before. And we're gonna be on electronic shutter. Let's put some sound on so you can make sure you can hear the shutter going. And we're gonna start, okay? Let's focus on something. And here goes the stopwatch. Gonna do for 5 seconds. 1, 2, and go. Hold it down for 5 seconds and stop. And we're gonna see how long it takes for it to write to this card. Well, you've already seen what the other times were, and I'll put them up on the screen. And we're gonna compare and make sure that this is indeed slower than the faster card. As you can see, it already is, because I'm already at 30 seconds and it still has 40 something seconds left on the card. So it's significantly slower writing to this card. So we're getting down to the last bit. We got 10 more files left. 1, 2, and stop. So roughly 46 seconds, 45, 46. So we're gonna review all these notes, and I'm gonna post all the results at the end, and we're gonna definitely find out that using faster cards does matter significantly. And thank you, and I'll talk with you again soon.